You need truth and life. Here is the Brother Leon Show. You better recognize.
What's going on, listeners? This is your boy, Brother Leon. And today is a beautiful day outside. Today is the Lord's Day. We are going to rejoice and be glad in it. I am here to declare to you this day that if you are on the side of life, if you are on the side of right, if you are on the side of good, God has blessed you this day that you can open up your mouth and say, Black lives matter, Black trans lives matter, and Jesus is Lord. Yes, I said it all today. Because the one thing I want you guys to know is this, is that it does not take away from your faith when you stand against injustice, when you stand against racism, when you stand against prejudice. And there is prejudice even amongst oppressed groups of people. My stance on standing with Black trans lives matter and also transgender people in the Black community is because this is an issue that should have been addressed a long time ago. And right now, it's the time for change. Right now is the time for us to stand up for our brothers and stand up for our sisters. And it's not about orientation, it's about life. Because all life is precious in the sight of God. And the crazy thing about it is that we have allowed our personal convictions, we have allowed our personal theologies to take and twist our minds to the point where it's okay for us to be free, but we don't want nobody else to be free. And as a Black man, I just say this. How is it that I can put a stumbling block in my brother's way because his orientation is different from mine? We are both Black. And I can't sit up here and deny you freedom when I'm still fighting for mine. And so it's about us coming together. So today I want to entitle this little episode, short episode, is that don't complain. Because we have financed our own oppression. We have gotten to the place where we are comfortable with giving our tithes and our offerings. And the crazy part about it is that when I put that post up about Black Tithes Matters, the crazy thing about it is that I got attacked by 2 Black ministers. And the crazy part about it is that there was no emphasis or no talk about what is happening with the evangelicals, what is happening with Black people sending their money to Paula White or even Rob Parsley. It was about worship and how I was wrong for telling people to do that and telling people to leave. But my thing is that you cannot allow yourself in this day and age to be a part of a system that is going to sell you out. And I don't care who the man of God is, Black, white, red, yellow, green, blue, clear. If he is sending your money to oppressive organizations, you don't need to be a part of that if you are a person of color. Because yes, you do worship God in your giving. But they take that giving and they send it off someplace. And you need to know where your money's being sent. You need to know what your pastor stands for. And like I said, if he is on the side of silence, he is part of the problem. Because it don't take revelation and training to understand and know that what's happening right now is evil. It is bad. And it's crazy that there are so many anointed people who in this time of need, they are silent. Have revelation out the yin yang. Prophetic in nature. Apostolic in call. But silent. And so you have to ask yourself, why are they silent? And I told you that some of these people, they value the base of the organization and the relationship of the organization more than they value the sheep or the tithes that come from the sheep. Because some of these organizations, some of these people, they give churches money, and men of God in particular, money that may equal to or be more than the tithes from their members. And the reason that is because most of the time some members are inconsistent. So I get it. You don't want to upset your main money. That's just like a pastor who has to do the song and dance to keep the big money people in place or the trustee board in place so he won't lose his job. I totally get it. It's denominationalism. But the crazy thing is that when you get guys like me, when you get guys that are free thinkers, when you get guys who are going to question it, then you become a problem. So I am telling you right now, listener, you ask the hard questions and you see where your money is going at. And yes, I do believe you can take your money and roll and go to another church. Because I look at it like this. One man planteth, one man waters, but God gives the increase. So let me take you over here to the scriptures. We ain't going to be here long. Romans chapter 14 out of the New King James Version. I'm starting at verse 22, and I'm going to be reading this out of many versions. So again, Romans chapter 14, verse 22. Do you have faith? Have it to yourself before God. Happy is he who does not condemn himself in what he approves. So if you are approving of this, don't complain when you see your money or see your pastor not opening up his mouth and he done sent your money off to Paula White and them or Rob Parsley and them, or he's at the conference with them. Don't be complaining when your pastor is taking photo ops with the president. Don't complain because he's allowed it and you allowed it. Because they will take and switch lingo on you in a heartbeat. And I told you, man, you got to learn the keywords. You got to understand the symbolism. You got to understand sometimes when a pastor tells you, I have a word, but God hasn't given me permission to release it yet. And here it is. It's like 6 months into the year. You know, we didn't had, I don't know how many killings by police, and you still waiting on a word. So you have to ask yourself, okay, what am I going to do right here? Am I just going to sit here and be frustrated, or am I going to get to the place where I'm going to be like, you know what? I love you, Pastor, but I believe that God is sending me someplace else. And you roll. You leave just like that, because you got to have enough courage to say that I believe that God is sending me someplace else. Because I need covering that's going to speak for me in times like this. I need covering that's going to reveal to me what's going on. And I love you, Pastor. I don't know what God is doing with you. But right now, I'm going to withdraw my membership. And I'm withdrawing my tithe money. And we're going someplace else. Thank you for everything that you've done for us. God bless you. Be well. Godspeed. And you move like that. And you have done things decently and in order. Let's read this scripture out of the Holman Christian Standard. Romans chapter 14, verse 22. Do you have a conviction? Keep it to yourself before God. The man who does not condemn himself by what he approves is blessed. So here it is. If you are approving of it, then you're going to see the blessing in it one way or another. Seriously. And that's the God knows truth. But you got to ask yourself this. If I'm signing up for it, I'm not going to complain about it. And if I don't complain about it, then somewhere along the line, God is going to bless. And somewhere, if you decide to stay, then maybe this is where you need to be. Because there are those right now, they're on the opposite side. And I just gave you that. If they ain't going to speak, keep it moving. But if you decide to stay, God's going to bless you. The whole thing that I'm saying right now is this. Is that there are those whose passion is for justice. And there are those whose passion is for justice, but they're not willing to get out here and be vocal about it. They're just going to be the type that's going to pray, and we need intercessors. They're going to be the type who's just going to be like, you know what? This is not my fight. I get you. I totally get you. But the one thing that I want you to see right now is that this is all of our fight. Everybody does play a part. And whether your part is on the side of silence or whether your part is being vocal, don't condemn yourself. And when you don't condemn yourself, there is a blessing that comes because you have clarity. You have clarity that you're going to speak up for what you see is wrong, and you have clarity enough that you are going to stay silent. And there is a blessing in that, and the blessing is clarity. Because you got to look at it. I'll read it again. Do you have a conviction? Keep it to yourself before God. The man who does not condemn himself by what he approves is blessed. And the blessing is clarity, because you have made yourself clear on where you are and where you stand. So if you're standing on the side of silence, don't be surprised when those who want justice leave you. And people who stand on the side of silence, don't get mad at the people that leave. Because that is their conviction. Just like it's your conviction, that is their conviction. Everybody has a right to their convictions. Everybody has a right to their faith. Everybody has a right to their theology. But the thing is that we cannot condemn ourselves in the thing which we allow. So it's like this. I was singing this song earlier. Sign me up for the Christian Jubilee. Write my name on the roll. I've been changed. Yes, the Lord has lifted me. I don't know the words of the song. But the one thing that I will say is that some of us, we sign up for bondage. Some of us, we sign up for silence. Some of us, we sign up for change. We signed up for the revolution. And you can't get mad at what happens when you sign up. Just like you can't get mad if all of a sudden now you have friends who used to be with you, and now you have taken this change, you have taken this stance against injustice, and now those who were friends and those who were allies are now looking at you sideways like you are an enemy, and vice versa. Because everything was good long as we was in church, long as we was shouting and prophesying and talking in tongues. But soon as I decided to open up my mouth and talk about, hey, we need to use our spiritual gifts to help in this cause, then all of a sudden it's a problem. It's about getting souls saved. We can't focus on that. The devil is in Black Lives Matter. But I'm here to tell you right now is that if you look at that song I just sung, you know, the Christian Jubilee, you have to ask yourself, what did Jubilee represent? In biblical times, Jubilee represented a time where things were restored. Even in the time of Jubilee, slaves were released. Even in the time of Jubilee, land was put at rest. Even in the time of Jubilee, the land was at rest. The people was at rest. Debts were canceled. And that is what the year of Jubilee represented in the Bible. The symbolism of it is freedom. And so you have to understand and know that we as a people, we have got to stop financing oppression. Especially if God has given us the symbolism of freedom. He has given us the symbolism of Jubilee. What it's supposed to be. What it's supposed to be like. But I'm here to tell you right now today that whatever side that you choose, whether it be the side of silence or whether it be the side of speaking up against injustice, don't condemn yourself. And I'm going to tell you right now, listeners, you got to watch all of these preachers, including me. And the reason why I say that is because you got to get to the place where you make up in your mind and you make a decision that is for you. Because too many times we are so dependent on preachers and men of God and prophets in particular that we will not think for ourselves, and we feel as though that we need for them to give us authorization and permission. And there are some places in life where you don't need nobody else's permission. God gave you the okay. God gave you a mind. He gave you the spirit. But you got to begin to use it. And that's the God knows truth. And if God has put something in your heart, you go ahead and do that thing. Because if you're looking for people's permission, they ain't going to never give you permission. And if you're looking for permission to start something, you ain't ready for it. You begin. You begin where you are. So I meant what I said. I meant when I said about black ties matter. I meant what I said. Do not finance your own oppression, because for years we have done that. You're financing your own oppression when you pay tithes and offerings and your pastor is using them for his child support. That's financing your own oppression. Because the crazy part about it is that, if he can't keep it in his pants, you need to ask yourself, Lord, why am I here? And if your tithes and offering is going towards keeping that child covered, I'm like, what are you doing, Pastor? Especially if you ain't full time. Seriously. Yeah, I said it. What are you doing? And it's hush money being paid out, and you got baby mama drama coming up to the church. And I'm just saying, man, you need to ask yourself, am I signing up for this? You need to ask yourself. If they sending out my stuff, if they sending out my tithes and offerings to Paula White and them, and they talking about we sending the money over to Israel, what about my community? What about the Jerusalem where I live at? If they're sending out my money to Rob Parsley and his Silent No More campaign, and next thing you know, here it is, my money and my pastor is now part of President Trump's campaign, what do I do with that? That is not what I believe. That is not what I stand for. But some of these churches and some of these men of God, they have the attitude, give me your money and shut the hell up. You don't question what I do. You sit in that pew and you wait until I give you a word. And they'll let you shout, they'll let you run. They'll lay hands on you, you fall out on the carpet, you get deliverance, you throw up all over the floor. But yet, you're financing your own oppression. And somewhere along the line, it has to stop. And I will keep preaching this, and I don't care who gets mad, because you can worship someplace else. I'm not telling you not to tithe. I'm telling you, don't be giving your tithes and offerings to a house that's going to keep you in bondage. They keep you in bondage by shutting the hell up. They keep you in bondage by secretly sending your money to organizations and people that do not represent the community. Yes, I said it. Is Brother Leon anti-church? No, I'm anti-machine. I'm anti-oppression. I'm anti-racist. And the thing about racism is that you have people who are on the side of racism and white supremacy, and they don't even know it. They play for the team and they don't even realize it. They play for the team, and the crazy part about it is that their community presence is null and void. They stay silent on issues like this. And that's the God knows truth. So you got to realize and understand, people, what's going to happen is a mass exodus. I love what Pastor YPJ has said, that there's going to come a mass exodus because people are being fed up. We can sit up here and sing songs all day, and this thing is not going to turn around. We have to get involved in policy. We have to get involved and see who are these people who call themselves being black and expect us to vote for them because they're black, but their voting record is not for the community and people of color and black people in particular. And that is what I mean when I don't understand that the city of Wilmington can have a black city council and vote against body cams and the police force is mainly white. So that's the thing that dumbfound me, and it lets me know that people can be bought. People can be bought for a nickel. People can be bought for 25 cents and 15 minutes of fame. You have to ask yourself who is willing to stand for the side of integrity. And some people, they're only going to get out here because everything is at risk. And they don't want nobody to know that, hey, I'm out here. I'm going to just do it on the low. You know what I mean? I'm going to do it on the low. Because what is at stake is the brand. What is at stake is my ministry brand. What is at stake is my corporate brand. So I'll say and do whatever I need to say and do until this whole thing washes over, and then we could go back to business as usual and as normal. But nothing will ever be normal after this. I like the fact that there's so much sentiment, but we need policies. And the crazy part about it is that if it was so much about blue lives, then why all of a sudden all these police quitting when you start putting in place what they can't do? Because you have an issue of people loving control more than they love peace. And if blue lives really mattered, then my question is, why is it that you didn't support Christopher Dorner? I'm going to tell you why the police are afraid, that some of these good cops are afraid to speak up. They're afraid of the FOP, and blue lives only matter when it's white cops involved. And that's why you have a lot of people that say blue lives matter. That's why you have people that say all lives matter, is because they want to take the emphasis, or they get mad when you say black. Yes, all lives do matter, but black is a part of that. And the fact that you have a problem with black, that's what it is. Because the one thing about it is that black people always have to be conscious of their color, especially around police officers. And the one thing about a police officer, he can take that uniform off at night, at the end of their shift. So blue lives matter. You can change careers. You can take the uniform off. I can't take this skin off. I could try to bleach it, but even in that, I'm still tormenting myself because I'm still black. And it's a shame that we have gotten to the place where now we feel as though in order to have success in society, we have to be something or somebody else. That is tormentous. And it comes from the spirit of slavery. It comes from the spirit of racism. It comes from that system of white supremacy that says white is right. And the crazy part about it, now you got pastors who are saying, let's call white privilege white blessing. White blessing? Slavery was not a blessing. And the crazy part about it is that it was oppressive on both sides, if you really want to look at it. Because now you have given your power over to a spirit, over to a system, over to a structure that will never let you go. And because it will never let you go, you can't let the people go. The people that you oppress, the people that you have enslaved. You will not give them or honor them what you promised. And let's go back to 40 acres and a mule. But yet, there's reparation for every other race except the black race. So I want you to know today that today is a day that you choose. And happy is the man who does not condemn himself in the thing that he allows. So if you allow the silence, don't complain. If you allow the voice of justice to proclaim, don't complain. Because it is going to get hard, activists. You are going to be surprised on who you see and who stays silent. Because I believe that God is using this time to expose those who you thought would be vocal, and they are not. That's the God knows truth. I was surprised. I got that. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. You know what's one thing that's happening right now? The church is giving this nigger wake-up call. Yes, I said it. The church is getting a nigger wake-up call. Because now you thought that because you were in places of faith, you were in circles of faith, and now you're seeing that these people that you honored, that you given into, that you sown into, you were part of their conferences, you went there, you supported them, they came to your churches. Now you starting to see that they say stay silent on this. That's your nigga wake up call. You getting a nigga wake up call when you see black people take and destroy other black people because of their stance for fighting against injustice. I got mine, I'm gonna tell you. I'm serious. I got mine, big time. Because I began to look and I was like, well, you know, what is there anything on the website? You know, Pastor so-and-so, is there anything on the website? And I began to look on the website and I began to look at YouTube videos and there was nothing. And then I was told, this is not your fight. I was told that Black Lives Matter is a distraction, that it's of the devil. And I was given the option, Jesus lives matter, all lives matter. And the crazy part about it is that I said, look, I can't let this go. My heart will not allow me to let this go. I have to do this. And I ain't gonna lie, I probably blew a career, you know, pastoring with that group. But I'm cool with it because the Bible says that whosoever shall lose his life shall find it. I found a new life when I made up in my mind that I was going to use everything that I have that God has given me, that I was going to mix my faith and social justice and use the tools of deliverance to be an anti-racist. So yeah, I made up my mind on that. And you need to make up your mind today. You need to make your call in an election sure. Because if you're going to be on the side of right, then be on the side of right. And that side of right might mean something totally different to you. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I can't get mad at those who choose to go on the opposite side, those who want to stay silent. I'm not going to get mad at you. I understand it. And you can't get mad at me if I decide to speak. But at the end of the day, I made up in my mind that it is what it is. And I can't get mad at what I see because I look at it like this. Somewhere along the line, you know, people going to wake up because even Paul had a wake-up call from God. He held the coast when they killed Stephen. He was going to, you know, infiltrating churches, acting like he was one of them. And next thing you know, he was on his way. God knocked him on his horse. And God told him, Jesus appeared to him, it's hard for you to kick against the pricks. And some of you, you're having a battle of conscience. But make up your mind. But know this, is that there is a blessing in clarity. So my decree for you this day is be clear. And on that, people, we are out. You have a blessed day. Peace.
Walk in the truth that makes you free every day. Follow Brother Leon on all social media outlets.